Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, thanks for everybody coming. And I need a motion on the minutes.
This is one I lost a hearing aid for too. This one's got a hearing aid, but I still think.
I'm making that motion, makes, accept.
Second.
So Tom made the motion.
If you fill up, you can take that.
Oh,
Lisa.
yeah.
And Denise seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Better.
We played along.
I know you did. You know me.
We just went with it. She's new.
Okay. Correspondences?
All the correspondences with other agenda items.
And this is the time we do our public comment. We do have, sure, sorry. This is the time for our public comment, and that is for the stuff that's not on the agenda. Any comments from the public?
I didn't ask Brenda to put on the EPA, but I have some late breaking news a little bit. The EPA has asked me to put together a whole new grant assistance. No, thank you, I'm not gonna do it. That thing, last one took me about 25, 30 hours to put the grant assistance together. Price told me that we can just extend the current agreement with them and just keep on going. And they'll tell me that on the phone, and then they change their mind and sit in the office and come back. And there's 9 different paper applications. You know, we have to do environmental justice. We have to guarantee low-income work to disadvantaged groups and things. It's just not going to work. So I'm pretty much finished with my revised grant extension. I've been sitting on it for a while because I've been waiting for them to decide a couple things like the memorandum of understanding between the Forest Service, DEQ, and EPA, and they have told me for 30 days that it's being circulated for signatures. I didn't know that the Pony Express still is out there, but it has to be going by horse or mule or something because it's not going through the mail. And the lawyers are taking their time to sign off on it, but we should expect that. But it appears that DEQ is going to face the facts that they can't get the job done and probably turn the job over to the Forest Service. The trust outfit that's holding all the money has to agree to have the EPA or have the Forest Service continue. One assessment and forth, and then it will probably be a single contractor that will end up being cleanup and stuff. There's probably not enough money on the part of the DEQ to really finish the job. So anyway, it's going to get a little intense here for a while. I just wanted to let you know that. But I'm just not, at this time, maybe we should take that kind of time and effort to basically start over with the EPA and
It's the staff, right? We're talking about
The assistance for that? What grant assistance is he talking about?
They gave the money to the stack, but they won't give money to me.
Okay,
So,
that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
thank you, but no thank you. I mean, I'm not gonna make it that hard when accomplish with that. But incredibly important is to get the institutional controls, and I don't not have any intention of leaving the town high and dry, but on the other hand, I gotta be practical about what I can accomplish and not get done. Supposedly DEQ is to step in and do institutional controls. I finally had a conversation or email exchange with Daryl Reed, but just not getting a lot of information. So just wanted to update you on that.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, council reports. Anna.
No. Fine, don't take up the written.
Pretty quiet.
Parks.
Garbage picked up and no other activity.
whom are you not hearing?
We haven't heard anybody.
Okay.
There you go.
Actually, rather than pull that out, I was about to get up and turn it off by the thermostat.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
We tried shutting it off a number of times.
It works over on this.
Sheriff's report. Offenses, Superior 13 cleared, 2 arrest citations for a total of 15. Incidences, 11 cleared, 1 unfounded for a total of 12. Traffic stops, 1 cleared, 2 warnings for a total of 3. 1 theft, obtain or exert unauthorized control over property, first offense. 1 false report to law enforcement authorities. 1 seatbelt violation, 1 driving without a valid driver's license, 1 displaying invalid DL or ID, 1 operating without liability insurance in effect, first offense, 1 to fail to give notice of accident by quickest means and apparent damage damage over 500. Pool,
No activity.
streets.
All plowing and sanding done as needed, and once again, Rodney, great job this week.
I was just whining a little while ago how this is the slowest winter I've had in 20 years
Yeah.
for plowing.
Aren't you glad you said
Should have
that?
kept my mouth shut. Ever since, it's been snowing.
You're doing a good job. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much.
It was nice, Rob was out there helping you this morning too, wasn't he? It was Rob Kratz.
Oh, he does private plowing.
He was out in the middle of River Road this morning.
Well, yeah, he
Yeah.
may be clearing out the area. Aaron LaPierre goes around and does some stuff
It was just
like
nice.
that.
I'd like to be able to thank them
The-
as well for helping
The only
out.
problem you have kind of with that is depending on how far they get into private property, 'cause I've
Right.
had them break meter pits and faucets and stuff like that. So it's a little
Expensive.
spooky when you see them running around,
Right,
other than streets.
right. He was in the middle of the street with his big dozer, getting
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff out of the middle of the road.
Yeah, he
so.
does several lots and stuff.
Sewer. All checks and maintenance being done, all testing has been completed, lagoon is in tolerance.
Yep, nope, I'm good, other than it's completely frozen over. It's the first time in a long time that's happened too.
Water, all checks and maintenance is being done, all testing is being done as well.
We had a heater on our west pump. It's set for 55, but when we went and we check it every day. And we went in there the following day and it was really cold in there and it froze. Not the well itself, but there's what they call a clay valve, and what that does is soft start the well and divert the water, and it froze, and so the water was all diverting into the outside thing. So Roger Kesting came running over and caught me here and says, your pump's flooding, so we just went and shut it off. And we had to go get a portable heater and stick it in there. We'll see how much one of those costs. They're called Chromalox cat heaters. But I turned it all the way up and it just barely puts out any heat, so I'm sure it's dying. So we put a little heater in there and that's keeping it from not running.
Fire. No emergency calls, 2 training meetings, generator grant, energy offset grant, tender project, dispatch project, fireman's room, recruiting and retention. John.
And not really anything more on the January report I can add, and I'm really happy about this. We had a structured fire call late yesterday afternoon, and actually I was telling people this morning that we had a turnout of 14 volunteers. Turns out there were 3 guys on the list that I didn't pick up on who stood by at the station. So we actually had a turnout of 17 yesterday, and I'm certainly really, really pleased with that. Guys did a great job on the fire as well, to the point where when we left, we called Northwestern Energy and told them they could come back and re-energize the house. A lot of smoke damage inside, and I know that nobody stayed there last night, but we were able to confine the fire to a pretty small area in the structure, and it is definitely a savable structure that they're going to be able to continue to live in. So I was pleased with that
Good
result.
job. Good job.
Thanks, Joan. Council concerns?
I have a council concern. I'm just curious, and I don't want to negate all of the wonderful work that's going on. Is there any way when we're doing the plowing in front of the daycare, we could push it forward or backwards instead of right into the parking lot? Because so many kids are going right in there, and I've
Which-
watched 3
the
or
one
4 of
down
them.
there?
Yeah,
We-
at Celia's.
We always push it to the,
Well, because she's
to the
been,
right.
and I've watched her every morning out there shoveling across the street.
That's her choice to push it all the way across there.
Okay.
She doesn't have to.
Because and I was just wondering, I've seen 2 or 3 kids like bail, just going into the thing. So I was just asking, I've only seen it in the mornings when I've pulled up.
No, our policy is half one side, half the other.
Right.
But we try to help wherever we can. So she always takes and shoves everything over to the side, and actually she puts it halfway into the lane of the right side, so then I
Right.
come down through and blow it
And
all
blow
the
it
way
all,
off. But
okay.
we never plow her in.
All right,
It's stacked on the corner there because we have, each lane is put to a corner.
okay,
When you come this way, and that way.
Right.
You gotta put that in snow somewhere.
of course.
So she gets thing, but we never plow her in.
Okay, thank you.
Unfinished business floodplain study.
The new Respect Engineering Company has submitted to the FEMA for the floodplain study. They billed out 29.5 hours. That came to $2,527. Per the agreement contract I signed with them, Superior would be liable for half of that. I emailed them to see if we could maybe put off the payment until the entire project was done and try to make one single billing to both Superior and Ronan Economic Development Company and stuff. I did get a response back to them. I was waiting for that, so I guess I'm a little concerned because I didn't get anything to Brendan to say, hey, let's go ahead and pay half this and at least get some money going on the way. So it'll be hanging out there a month, and contract says that they'll come and hang me up or whatever. So anyway, I hope to talk to them a little bit more. I haven't approached that Ronan Economic Development, Billy Lee at all with the bill at this time, but still try to get that answer. So the FEMA's got the application. They've done the initial review. There was 5 items that they needed further addressing in there. It's now going to be a little bit lower priority with respect because we're right at the end of the contract, and so they think by later February they'll have the answers back to them, and it's going to be another 4 to 5 hours of billable time. So hopefully we'll stay within that $2,000 contract, and then the work begins. Because if FEMA accepts it and issues the LOMAR, then it's a process that we have to get the state to accept the LOMAR, and then if the state accepts the LOMAR, they're going to tell the town to accept the LOMAR, and you really need to accept this LOMAR with a new set of floodplain regulations, not your old ones, because there's going to be some standards in the new proposed floodplain regulations that are just not there in our current ones. And so that's going to be another project that I'll talk to you about, because right now I'd like to think that we might have a floodplain regulation that would be for Monroe County and the town of Superior, and try to combine them up and get both governing bodies to accept them and just have a unified. That'd be the basis of the state current minimum standards. But anyway, we'd have to go through that public process and have the hearings and present that and put it out there for comment and have both governing bodies accept it. It's certainly been on my radar to do, but they have continually revised the proposed standards, and now they feel like they've got a product now that we should run with and go with. So I'll hear more about that at the floodplain conference in March in Billings, and go over there and sit down with people for 2 days and probably have some more information.
Thank you. Fishing Pond and Walking Trail, River Ridge subdivision. Anybody have a chance to read?
Oh, I read it.
Yeah, I think we read, and there's what, 4 more here?
Yes.
5.
I even
I'm
read all-
numbering them,
All
so I
the
have a good.
covenants and
Yeah, the
restrictions.
covenants too.
read all that garbage.
Well, from my point of view, when I said last time I didn't see an upside on it at all, I just got some numbers together for, like if we had to sign it, and I'm just guessing the signs, we're looking at $400 just to sign a few minimum signs. To get a plow that would do that's $2,900 to put it on a Kubota. And then if you're gonna put garbage cans in there, they're $400 a piece. You need about 6 to just even basically cover that plate. I'm pushing almost $10,000 here, and I haven't even talked about ice melt and anything like that. And it's just, to me, something that we don't want to.
We got 11 letters here
I
from
have.
people that live down there. None of them are in favor. In fact, they're pretty much not in favor.
Rich, did you get that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need a copy?
There wasn't one that
No one.
they had any favor towards it, so,
No,
I mean, I don't,
I agree. I was a little, I think a lot of it is not necessarily to do with the fishing ponds itself.
Yeah,
There's a
that's-
lot more history going on here, and that's okay too. I mean, it's obvious that this isn't gonna be a go of it, but,
Former Mayor Mike Wood also is
sent
opposed
one,
to it.
yeah. And I don't think that's unusual. I think we, as the town council, have some history with them as well. So I guess the reason that I even wanted to maybe bring the public comment into this is that I feel like we are a beautiful town, and we talk often when I'm out there in the community about how to make this a better place to live. And I am continually searching for those things. I don't think walking trails or ponds or places to walk our dogs that are regulated, because that's obviously a big issue in here as well, are a bad idea. And there's a lot of places that the city has taken that on by themselves to beautify their area, and there's economic development that comes along with that. There's a lot of other things that follow when you take that initiative. So it wasn't necessarily maybe this that I was looking at, but the discussion of how do we bring some of that into Superior. So I'm hoping that all of the people who showed up here tonight because of this would be willing to show up to help us decide how we can move forward with some of those other plans. So that's just my little spiel.
Well, there's so many of these letters point out all these downsides. And, you know, and not one person even slightly in favor of it. If there's somebody here in favor, speak up. Okay.
Please, by all means.
The developer,
I'd like to say one thing.
please do.
Yeah, my name's Steve Klein. I live down on Clark Fork Drive. And I'll just sum up my comment by saying I'm completely opposed to this. I've had experience before with ponds, one in the Bitterroot, Stevensville area. The 8 years I lived there, 2 drownings. And one before that. It bordered my property. I had to increase my liability insurance. Every problem that could come there came there. As Roger mentioned, garbage cans, parties, everything else. This is why I came. Last Sunday, I will read this. 2 children died after falling into icy pond near Plummer, Idaho. Ages 5 and 9. They drowned in a fishing pond just outside of Plummer. The pond is located off Old Agency Loop Road, several miles southwest of Plummer. There's an aerator in the middle to hold fish, to keep the oxygen going. That's what they're proposing here, is a fishing pond. They, to keep it from freezing over, of course, and created a dangerous situation as the ice closer to the bank got a little shaky. These 2 little kids were running out without any supervision, walked across town, and their dog got loose, so they went to find it. They both fell in and drowned. I don't want any part of that. I didn't buy down here to increase my liability insurance and to do that. And so let the record stand that this is something that the city, I would think, take a really strong look at, because in a private-public partnership, your liability is there. I'm not sure you're totally out of liability anyway,
Yeah.
because this was a state-approved subdivision. and it was a golf course that was approved. So there's gonna be problems from this thing right here. That was 1 week ago. And we can't afford to have that kind of problem in this city. And I'm with you, I appreciated your comments about trying to find improvements and ways to keep things better for Superior. And I'm willing to move forward on that kind of a comment and lay this to rest and put it behind us.
Fill the bond in. Fill them in.
Fill them in.
Yeah, yeah,
Well-
get a backhoe down there
And that's something we would need to talk to the owners about. No, and I agree. I mean, I think part of the scare that I have 2 small children, so
Mhm.
there's always a scare for me, regardless of where it is, if somebody climbs in the pool here, on our rivers or on our streams, and I think it is something that's to be taken very seriously, and I don't think that the city itself is really looking into this seriously. That would be my guess here, just from what we've heard. But it was that opportunity to, how do we start discussions, and how do we get these things out there, and how do we even make, how do we make improvements for, obviously, the landowners who have bought in that subdivision and are having issues? Is there some way that we can all get involved to do some of that as well? So I think the discussions need to start, and this was unfortunately not a good reason to start them, but it's a reason to.
Mhm.
So sometimes you have to optimize your options, when they come along. So thank you for that. Phil.
Yep. Just
Hi, my name is Burr Hughes. I live at 200 Clark Fork Drive. Somebody kind of made the comment, fill them in. I second that motion. In the 10 years that I've been here, we never used to have mosquitoes. We have them. And because of the standing water, there's a pond down in the lower area there that is not maintained, maintenanced at all, and there's standing water in it every spring. There's no water to it, it's just rain and snow. And nobody maintains that, nobody does anything about it. I don't believe the weeds have been sprayed down there for 3 years. Can't speak for the upper. But my wife and I, too, are totally against this. I think the liability insurance would be outrageous. I don't know how you would put docks on there and keep little kids safe. Fencing it, I don't know. I'd like to see it go down in flames.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I live on Osprey Drive, in one of the little duplexes. As it is, most of us down there are policemen right now. I mean, we finally got all the wandering dogs under control, and poor Brenda gets messages on her answering machine all the time.
That's okay.
And we shouldn't have to do that. I mean, we have a German Shepherd who runs. The dogs used to run back and forth on our decks and would not let us out of our house. And it just gets to be a little much after a while. You're going to have outhouses. I can't begin to tell you.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Barbara Gilbert.
Thank you. I want to be able to write that down
It's
so I know your name.
G-U-I-L.
Oh, okay, G-U-I-L. Thank you.
Mhm.
The dog issue seems to be a recurring one. I think that's very well stated in a lot of these letters.
We're still dealing with it, but we just give them dirty looks and tell them they better or else. Right, Jenny?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Renee Summers, and I live on Osprey Loop. And I have an issue with children without supervision going around those ponds. And I didn't realize until a neighbor told me how deep they are. And that's a serious danger to the kids. And I agree that they should be filled up and just taken care of. Plus, the weeds haven't been sprayed as far as I know. And the cattails take over.
Now, I have a question. Do you have a homeowners association?
No.
In that subdivision?
The 4 condos, they do,
Okay.
and I'm in that.
And the area is a common area owned by the developer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a golf
That was the
course.
old golf course.
We have no
Yeah,
jurisdiction over
The
it.
next one, Renee Summers, thank you.
I just
Yeah.
wonder how we would go about, filling them in.
Oh, I think
That would be
They'd
something
probably
that-
to demand the
rather have them
developer
held in
do
and
it.
pay
Yeah.
for the water to be
Wouldn't they rather have that less expense?
Yeah, because
Maintaining those ponds?
They have to run the
Isn't
filters
that why
in the
they're trying to get
summer.
rid of them in the first place?
Well, I would assume, yeah, that's why they're trying to get rid of them, is to get rid of the expense, but I don't know how we
Yeah,
force
they can
them
enforce it.
to fill them in.
But they can,
They're trying to hand them off.
they
to
sure
them.
can.
Does anybody know whether the ponds were a part of an original development approval?
Yeah,
there's
there's a
Okay.
letter in here
So they'd
from,
have to get approval to change it, which if council's willing to give it, maybe they'd be happy to take it and fill it in.
The upper ponds have water circulation in the summer.
In the summer.
right,
So it must
But
cost
they're
quite a
still
bit for
scuzzy.
the power.
They've got a film over the top of it, and we have kids riding their bicycles into it. We have swimmers, and these are little kids that have no supervision. I chase them out of there all the time.
can you state your name for me too, just so it's on the
I'm
record?
Jerry Rasmussen.
Thank you, Jerry.
I just yell at them.
John, would you call those parks a attractive nuisance?
Oh, yeah.
They might be pretty close, yeah. Yeah.
I wonder about the town's liability if some kind of fatality did occur down there, even though we don't own the property, but it's in our town. And some lawyer go crazy on us.
That's a good concern, because if this was a subdivision that was approved, they tried to get this, incorporate the roads into the city and have the city take on the roads. That has been an issue ongoing forever and ever, is still not done. But I would say that there's liability there, because it was part of the original plat filed in 1995,
Yeah,
and the new one that came on the supposedly Greens at Cedar Creek Phase 2.
Just on the walking trails alone in the wintertime, they're iced over here and there.
Okay.
Somebody slips, they're gonna sue. People are looking for ways to get money.
And the walking trails are not that long, so they wouldn't really be beneficial to very many
No,
people.
it's not it's like 2 blocks.
So back in 2008, it looks like there wasn't a homeowners association forming. Did people opt out of forming that? I guess I'm just curious, because I have the covenants and the conditions and restrictions, but then I have another, there's nothing really stating a homeowners association in here, but then I have another document that's from this Land Solutions, Dave DeCrampry, who was a land planner. And he does talk about the Superior Gold Group is forming a new homeowners association to manage and maintain the ponds, greenway, and trail system. At this time, the developers are inviting you, and I think this is to you, Mr. Hughes, correct? To enter into this agreement. So I just am curious, can somebody give me the history of what happened here?
You bet. City was left out of the loop, town council and everyone.
Right.
The homeowners themselves, on the upper level and lower level, would receive this letter from Land Solutions. And in May of 2008, and at that time, it was resoundingly turned down. No way, no way, no way, period. Again, with this coming up, number one, occurring in the wintertime when some folks are fortunate enough to be snowbirds and they go south. This seems to be a habit with the developers. In 2003, November, I bought my lot. The gentleman sat in the bank and told us, you're going to have beautiful golf course in the front door, beautiful river at the back door, and February it was closed. November to February. And we were not even notified by the developers. A friend had to notify us. So there is a lot of history here. And I think the pumps broke down last summer. I have no idea, those ponds, I have no idea what that costs. You'd be taking that on too. And
Could I make an additional comment too? There was a homeowners association was started by the developer. And it was the main principal of the developer, his wife, and another individual. And that was started as the homeowners association. The reason that we've turned this down and been against it is because what they want to do is throw everything into the homeowners association so they don't have to come up and do any paving of any road or live up to the obligations or get the grade down to code so the city will accept that road.
Right.
So they're begging out of all of these things, mainly on the cost. So we've not reformed an association. I can't tell you today if that is still there, if they've been filing minutes or done. I've checked
Right.
with.
And you guys dissolved your component. None of you are paying
Yes.
dues. There hasn't
No,
been dues
no.
paid. Thank you for the history, because we have some of it, but I've never really felt like I had the entire story from all of this. So that helps a lot.
Well, that lower road is maintained by the homeowners down there on a cooperative basis.
Okay. Amongst you,
Yeah, amongst
without the
us.
principals or the
Yes.
land investors.
You ready for a motion?
I am ready for a motion.
Thank
I
you.
will make a motion that the town declines to have anything to do with what the developers, what their plan for this, whatever they want to call it.
Entering into the partnership?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any more
That's a good
discussion?
decision on your part.
That's on declining it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
Question.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now let's see if we can do something else.
Yes, sir.
Is there a point here with the people in the room that possibly you pursue public safety
Yes.
and then go down and look at the situation, determine if you need to force the developer into filling in those ponds because of nuisance pests and possible public safety?
We can also ask the city attorney.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can definitely ask the city attorney, and he can
Yeah.
give us
And that's what I had just said to Ronnie, is that you guys can make a difference. So you keep filing these, you keep sending them to us. This is how we can make a difference. As the town, we don't have a whole lot of, we can try to force them, but we don't have the legal backing necessarily behind us, but you guys do. So I would say, keep this up, keep it coming to us. We'll talk to our city attorney and
I
then
would
we
just
can
make a-
can get things going.
You don't have the authority to take care of it, who does?
The landowner, but we'll talk to the city attorney about it. But as far as other it's really hard for a city to make somebody do something with their own properties.
Unless you could, we might be able to condemn it.
As a
on
nuisance.
safety factor.
Right.
But you have to go to an attorney and make sure that.
And the more we have of these, the more backing we have for that.
But we never know what they're going to do.
Until they decide they want to.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Thanks
but I
to
think
Brenda
on
that we got
the ponds, wouldn't you like to have some letters requesting some aid or help in
We're about to get
getting
that
those
point.
filled in?
The ponds, regardless of what they intend to do, if you guys, yes, are really looking at the ponds as an issue, then we want those letters about the ponds specific.
I
wanna
want
make
to
the
like to
point.
be done. There were some issues that were brought up tonight that concerns that you have, animal control, ponds. Write us letters about that. One thing, this didn't come to our attention until the developers sent their letter.
If it hadn't have been
Okay.
for Brenda, we wouldn't have known.
We wouldn't have known anything.
Well, and we suggested that you guys be
Correct, that was on our
contacted.
last.
But
meeting.
now that you want some things done, make sure we get some letters concerning those, concerning the ponds, mosquito, pest control, whatever. Then we can direct that. But our hands are tied until the land developer gives us a proposal. Once he gives us the proposal, then we can send you letters and you can respond. If you want something done, we need to get that information from you. You don't want us to just make decisions ourselves saying, okay, we're gonna do this.
Yes, but you just did that when you voted down to take it into it, you talk about it, didn't you? Where you're not interested in having any of this pursued?
But we heard from you.
Yeah, they didn't know until we just put it on.
That's true, but I have a lot down there, and I'm not totally against this, but I believe we bought our lot 5 years ago, and there hasn't been one thing done down there about maintaining it or I never heard anything from the other people that lived down there. We had a good friend, a couple that lived down there, about filling the ponds, maintaining anything. From what I understand, the city never maintained nothing, and I understand that, but they would hire someone or someone volunteered to come in and cut all the weeds and stuff and try to make it look halfway decent.
Yeah,
Not
and
the
we,
same.
that's not the same
That's
thing.
private property.
We can't go on private
We send a
property.
letter,
Property, it's not
we
our-
send a letter every year to those owners to cut the
We
weeds.
have a whole list.
Every
Exactly.
year. And we send it to more than that. We send it to anybody that doesn't cut their weeds, we get a letter. We can't go on there.
Pardon?
You cut your weeds?
I cut no, I don't, because they were cut by someone with a tractor and that. Nobody ever sent me a letter and wanted to know whether or not to pay a small fee to help pay for that. Did you
Jim
pay
Miller.
for it?
Can
No,
you
I don't-
state
I
your
don't
name?
have-
Sir?
I don't have
Was
weeds,
it
so
Jim
I
Miller?
don't.
I don't know. Can you state your name, sir?
Pardon?
I need your name.
Jim
please.
Miller.
Thank you.
What lot do you own, sir?
I own one of the big ones when you first drive in. On the right side, the center lot. With the maple tree.
Maybe Hollenbeck's mowed that this summer when they
They
mowed.
hired somebody to
Because
get it
they
done.
were the only ones that mowed with a tractor down
Up
there.
on top?
No, on the bottom.
Because even the landowners that
On the river
live out of
side?
the area that call me, usually call and ask, like, if there's some teenagers around that they can come in and have weed eat or mow the weeds down, but the kids don't use tractors. Kids haven't used tractors.
We all help each other down
Yeah.
there, try to keep this thing cleaned up and look presentable and nice on the river side of the road. I've mowed my neighbor's lot twice, and he didn't know about it, just to help him keep your weeds down, so.
Excuse me, I had a comment about the safety on this. Jerry and I are sit up above and look down on a pond, and the other pond is in front, so we don't want to see kids driving